Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, first of all, let's do a little bit of an introduction. It's the end of the day. Let's not put too much behind this now. Who's been here, hand in the air, since 9 o'clock this morning? Wow. All of us started off this morning with a coffee, and we've managed to get to this point in the day, and we're still alive, the brains are still functioning. So first of all, a very quick round of applause for everyone in the room. Well done. You survived. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I have got a rough agenda for you all. Without having to read it all, we have all in this room got constraints in our budgets. Every single one of us, and whether we're talking about cyber security or just straightforward wages. And I don't want to come here and start giving you a whole set more of things that you need to purchase, etc. But I just wanted to give you some very quick pointers from my experiences that you might want to use or for your own client base. I was speaking to a consultant over lunch, I can't see him now, PC Consultants was it? And he's trying to offer services onto his clients. So maybe this is something you can go away, talk to clients about. If nothing else, you get a day rate, which is important. So, the focus of my address is how can I do something about the state of the security of my business without breaking the bank? So, no doubt you have now seen some pretty impressive material. I have sat in on the TSB guys, thank you very much, it was brilliant. I now know where £250 million lies, and I'll be knocking on your door soon. And I've just come out of the psychology one, which was even more impressive. They hardly mentioned cybersecurity, which was pretty good for a cybersecurity summit, but yet I can completely relate everything they've just said about psychology into cybersecurity, which is just impressive. So, without further ado, it's me, no pressure. However, tomorrow we'll all go back to our offices and our relevant little dens of iniquity, and we'll sit down and we will sit there and we'll invent the world. We will create our own digital Alcatraz, as I've nicknamed it. We will spend millions of pounds in our head. It's a bit like winning the lottery. Fantastic. I saw this presentation and this guy said X. Wow, let's go and have 3 of them. We need to have a little bit of a reality check though. We haven't got the gross domestic product for a small country at our disposal. We might have 50 quid if we're lucky. So, I have a question for you all. This is, again, more hands in the air. I'm going to ask you a question first of all. When I ask it, put your hand in the air and leave it up, okay, until we've got to the end of the question. So the first question is, what is your current planned budget spend on cyber security? Roughly. Is it, I don't have a budget? Good, there's some hands in the air there. Good, at least someone's awake. Next one, I've got up to £1,000 a year. Ooh. Anyone got up to £5,000 a year to spend on this? Up to £10,000? Anyone more than £10,000 a year to spend on cyber security? Impressive. Okay. For those who haven't got the hands in the air, I guess you're asleep. Well done, you need some more coffee. Thank you, you can all put your hands down. Okay, slightly different question. What do you think your business thinks you should be spending on cybersecurity? This isn't you, we've got your perspective now. What does your bosses, what does the management structure, what does everyone else around you think you should be spending? Who thinks we shouldn't have a cybersecurity budget? No one, good. That's good. At least the message got home today somewhere. How about up to £1,000? Good. Anyone up to £5,000? It's like a bid this, isn't it? Anyone more than 5,000? 10,000? Who thinks that their bosses are going to turn around and say, have as much money as you like? No one. Isn't that amazing? So last question then. Do you think your budget should be higher than what you've got at the moment? And let's ask the honest question to yourself. Are you going to get it? Because I can almost guarantee everyone in this room will say, no, I'm never going to get that kind of money. So, cybersecurity is like car insurance. You can either go for the fully comp and you get some great, well, you get half the alphabet actually, or you can go third party where you basically, yeah, I'll be all right, we'll never be attacked. Yeah, there's nothing in our business that anyone's interested in. Well, there's plenty in your businesses that you're going to be attacked for. Even just an email address right now can be sold. We had this from the guy who decided to steal half my presentation at lunchtime rather than you spoiled it this morning. Yeah, unfortunately I've got the great job of sitting on the internet and watching what goes on. And I can tell you right now, I can get you a credit card number, full CVV, postal address, name of person, up to £70,000 in his bank right now. I can take it and it'll cost me $70. And I can ask you now, well, how many do you want? Because these guys can sell you thousands at a time. It's quite a scary world. Thank you, you scared us all enough this morning. I'll carry on scaring you until everybody in the world understands this thing, because it really is a scary place we're living in. And when it doesn't matter how much that technology we want to buy, realistically, you'll never spend enough money on it. We have to find the balance point in there, as you'll find out in a moment. So, enough for scaring you all. What am I here for? Well, I want to give you some simple tips and tricks. And there isn't any magic 10 steps to cybersecurity, so I'll give you 5 simple tips instead, okay? However, I will warn you now, this is no digital Alcatraz I'm going to give you. This is just some guidance. This is a point in the right direction, okay? If you've seen some of this stuff before, good. Most of it was called common sense and was given to me when I was younger. However, businesses don't work like that because they're not human beings. They don't understand at all the word common sense as a business. Ask the tax man. So the first one, passwords. Thank you, Tony, for stealing that one. Thank you for stealing that one also. Yeah. Everyone in this room is guilty of this one. Okay, who in this room has got at least one password they use in 2 locations? Bingo. If I was a hacker, I'd just take you all apart. Who in this room has changed the PIN number on their debit card after 3 months of having it? Anyone put a hand in the air? See, your computer system at work says, oh, 3 months, you've got to change your password, 8 digits, numbers, letters, stars, all the other bits on your keyboard, and you can't have it the same as the last one, you can't have it the same as you've had. And yet we're all walking around with our debit card going, yeah, look at that, 4 numbers. That's all I have to do. In fact, go to the chip and PIN number, the guy behind you will tell you what it is. None of us at all are bothered about the security of it. Ask the psychologist I've just sat in on. So, here's some little statistics for you. Because I'm going to ask you all a question again. Anyone got a new starter join their business in the last 6 months and gave them the factory fit password you give to all new starters? Yeah. BT have just done a great one for me. My new password for logging onto my Wi-Fi on BT Open Zone is welcome123. Apparently all new BT Open Zone customers have the same one. Genius. And I see some heads shaking at the back there. How can this still be happening? I don't know. Because it's drummed into us enough times, and yet we still all do it. We all work for businesses where we don't have good cybersecurity, starting with the fundamentals of passwords. 5-digit password on your home computer will be cracked instantly if it is all numbers. Who in the room has got an 8-digit password or less? This is a good question for everyone in the room. Has anyone got an 8-digit password or less? Fantastic. How many people is that? 1, 2, any more? 3, fantastic. Can someone shout one of your passwords out very quickly? Nearly. Very good. Who logged onto the Wi-Fi before? Yeah, that was me, by the way, just to let you know. Yeah, see, UK Fast is in a very privileged position that we've spent some money and we've bought a set of rainbow tables. These are encrypted passwords. Anything that is 8 digits or less, I will give you a hashed algorithm, an MD5, MD3 or a SHA-1, whatever it is. We've got the lot. Why? Because we've got passwords on our client servers in our hosted environments, and the clients go, don't know what the password is. We will therefore be able to help them out with that. Yes, I saw a shake of a head there going, oh, no, it's actually perfectly legal to do so. It's not illegal to do this. Rainbow tables are perfectly fine to own. So, 8-digit passwords, bit harder to crack, do we think? Well, this man, Ivan, he's a really nice guy. He's written a very fantastic, amazing piece of software. I use a graphics card that cost me 60 quid. and it will do 560 million password combinations a second. And that's with a 60 quid graphics card in an old clapped out computer that lives underneath my desk. So I said to everyone before about their 8-digit passwords, they're gone. And then we start asking questions about, well, what if I buy a better graphics card and this guy gives me the updated version which he's just released? Everything's now gone. We're talking 5.6 billion passwords a second he'll be trying to crack. Forget it, guys. Your passwords actually really don't mean a great deal right this second. And then I'll give you something else. Amazon's cloud. Oh, well, let's get cloud thrown into all of this as well. This is cloud security. See, Amazon will lend you GPU space. This is graphics card space. They will actually give you the equivalent of 3 graphics cards all linked together. Why? This is like hackers' toys. Or forget having to spend any money at all. Go to passcracking.com and you can do it for free. These are the tools the hacker. Someone did a great presentation for on tools the hacker. I wish I could have been in it because I would have loved to join in with half the stuff you're throwing out. Did you say who did it? Are they in the room? The person who did tools the hacker. Did they say Wireshark? He did mention. Brilliant. Good. Best one you can get for a lot of that. Add this to the arsenal. Just add them in. Every time you get an encrypted password, throw it in. It'll tell you what the password is. So what I'm here to tell you is good passwords. What's a good password? Are we talking about password 99? No. Are we talking PA55WORD? No. Because that's already in there. Because they're not silly, these guys. They'll think about this stuff. Think about password in terms of a rule for your clients and for your staff. They've got to understand that the harder that password is to crack, the better it is for that entire business. You're only as good as the weakest door. Remember that one. That's given to me by a hacker. That you're only as good as the weakest door. So if, let's take your business. The admin girl decides that she can't remember all 14 passwords to the 14 systems, so she decides to have the same password. They're in. It's game over for the entire business. So the worst thing you can also do, moving on from how bad passwords to start with, is when you get your clients' passwords. Who's got a system where your clients can log into it? Let's have a show of hands. Okay, I hope you encrypt your databases. Because look what happened when Sony didn't. That was 1 million passwords released on the internet. If anyone wants to follow us something, have a look on the internet, on Twitter, and look up Pastebin leaks. You will see every half hour another couple of thousand passwords thrown out. I read this morning Amazon. There was about 200 passwords of theirs leaked. It's just relentless. The hackers are 3 steps ahead of us, not 1 step ahead of us. Good password management, but please, if you get any passwords from your clients and they're in a database, make sure it's encrypted. It's very simple to do. It doesn't cost anything to just literally turn on the encryption of an SQL database. Okay? Really important thing we do. But that was the lulsec quote. Those are the guys who actually took Sony apart, so you've actually got the actual quote as to what they thought. What would it be if it was your business? What would they say about your company? Okay, so big question then. Okay, so you're telling me all these passwords and you're telling me it's encryption. Well, how do I know if I'm vulnerable? Well, the first thing I would recommend to everyone is whoever wrote your website or wherever you've got these passwords stored through, get friendly with your developer. They should be able to tell you. If they are telling I'm not sure, get an expert in, as you'll see in a moment. It isn't rocket science to do, it is their job to do it. If a developer is writing you an insecure system, you really need to start thinking about another developer and stop wasting your money. And I mean that in the serious of tones. For those in the room who are software developers, you need to be putting some confidence out when you're talking to your clients about, I write SQL databases that are encrypted so you will not end up with a Sony type event and my password and your passwords will be distributed globally. If they're unsure, go and show them Pastebin leaks and get that extra 50 quid out of them for your management time while you actually type away the extra bit of code for it if you need to. But please get it done. I don't want to find out in 3 months' time there's a page up on the CSC website saying, oh yeah, one of the attendees didn't take the knowledge on board, and look what happened, because that really would be embarrassing for someone in the room. Okay, a little bit of scare story in there, but at least you got some free stuff. So what do you do if you have the vulnerability? What do you do about it? It's a really key question, because we might find out that the developer that we've used isn't around anymore, and we personally cannot fix this issue. Well, the first thing you need to do is wait till a bit later on, because there's another click for this one. But most important is don't panic. Don't tell anybody about it initially until you fixed it, or at least you've got a path in place to fix it, and then notify people that you may have had some kind of security breach. It is okay to tell people, by the way, you've had a security breach. Ask Sony. Okay, compliance. Ooh, the dreaded compliance. We've talked about ISO 27001 a couple of times. I've got an expert in the room about it. Thank you. We had a good conversation earlier. But when you say the word compliance, people go, oh, regulation. Oh, it's going to be a hard thing. It's going to cost me a fortune. I've got to jump through hoops. I've got to give them half my company documentation just to become compliant. I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. I am an ISO 9001 lead auditor. My rates are not extortionate. Not that extortionate. The second thing is they're good for your business. So you may have to spend some money. That's why it's protection on the budget, not protection for free. You may have to spend some money, but it's money well worth spending. So let's just have a quick look at the 3 I would recommend, for, especially around the cybersecurity. First thing is ISO 9001. If anyone's not familiar with ISO 9001, I'll tell you what it is. This is how to tell your clients that you can make a good product repeatedly. I have got good process. It says I do this, then that, and then this, and then he does this, this, and this, and you end up with a good product. Now, for most of us in this room, we should be able to do that, because it's either your business plan or it's your workflow diagrams. You might even have it as a training document for new starters. Fantastic, you are 90% of the way through to ISO 9001. The last little bit is, how do you measure whether what you've got is a quality product? I think everyone in this room has suffered with non-quality products. Okay, so how do you know whether what you're making is a quality product? The answer is, ask your customers. Get compliant or get complaints was something I was once told. Complaints are actually quite good, because it tells you when you're not doing so good a job and you need to get better. How does that relate to our friend cybersecurity? Well, first of all, if what you're offering is a service, you can measure how many breaches you're having. Am I now ISO 9001? Well, no one's told me I've had any breaches. Good, it's pointing me in a direction. Okay, this is all about direction. ISO 27001 is the standard in cybersecurity for me at the moment. There isn't anything else we can realistically use as a true metric on a business. I can do it as an individual, but not as a business. It's very difficult. 27001 is a very good one. Now, I heard a comment earlier, someone said, but 27001 costs a fortune for SMEs. You're right. Yeah, the guy's gone bonkers at the front, hasn't he? He says, right, and he's just said, you need to have it. No, I'm going to tell you something else. You don't need ISO 27001. You need to get to the standard of ISO 27001. Why would you go and spend the extra $6,000 on all the other audits and all the scheduled program of events? Why don't you just get the consultant in to get you to the standard of it, and you've got good working practice of it? Okay, so you have to pay the consultant. Brilliant. There's enough of them in the room. They're probably wanting a job right now. Good. But it also means that you've got a good business. You're making quality products and you're doing it in a secure way. Fantastic. If you are now got enough budget out there that you can spend on ISO 27001, go for it. I really mean that. There's a holy trinity, by the way, 9, 7, 14, if you ever get into ISOs. 9 is I can make a quality product, 27 is I do it in a secure way, 14 I can do it environmentally friendly. But that's a different summit, and we'll have to do that on a different day. Last one, PCI. Everyone in the room should know what PCI DSS means. If not, it means I take credit cards and I do not put them anywhere insecure. Now, everyone in the room would probably agree that if it's your own personal credit cards, you would not want them distributing on the internet. Is that fair to say? Is there anyone in the room would like to give me their credit card details? No show of hands, I wonder why. And yet we take our clients' data And we in some cases, we treat it with such irreverence as we don't encrypt it. We don't put it in a secure place. It's simple. If you're supposed to have a client's credit card details, treat it in the same way you treat it yourself for your own details. So there's your 3 standards. ISO 9001, as I say, is very easy to implement because you've got most of the documentation already. 27001 is a lot more difficult to implement, but you get a consultant who can help you. He will also help with a lot more while he's there on site. I can tell you that for no money at all. The last one's PCI compliance, because if you're taking credit cards, you have to be compliant now. You're not really going to get away with a business model where it isn't. Oh, and by the way, when you do them, you also get vulnerability scans thrown in as part of the deal, because that's what they have to do as an external audit to come and go doing it. You get free vulnerability scans. Isn't that nice? PCI, it's quarterly. ISO 27001, it's annually. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5 vulnerability scans a year, wrapped them up into the fees. Or pay them individually at £5 a piece. 25 grand. What would you rather do? Have to do them and they're incorporating the fees, or pay 25 grand and do them separately? Get compliant or get complaints. Right, tip 3. This is my favourite one of the lot, this one. Sir Francis Bacon, this took some digging this. Sir Francis Bacon is famed for quoting heresies. Check that out, I did some research there. And he said, knowledge is power. So, today we've met some pretty clever people, would we agree? Okay? Has anyone got any of these guys' contact details? Anyone got a mobile number, telephone number, email address, Twitter account, web address, anything at all? Next question then, when are you going to phone them up? When are you going to get in contact with these people? There is no point in you sat there trying to do a full cybersecurity 4-year course and do all the pain and the heartache, and after 4 years going, great, we can do cybersecurity, because 4 years has elapsed and the whole world's marched on. You're too late. Hire one of these guys, because do you know what? They've done all that stuff for you. They've done the boring stuff, having to revise for exams and the pain of keeping his certifications up to date. They've done it for you. So, hire them. Hire me. Never let the missus help when they're doing PowerPoint. Yes, hire me if you want to. Hiring someone with plenty of knowledge also can help in other areas. I'm sure some of the guys around the table will quite happily say, look, if you hired me and I'll quite happily have a look at something else over here. It's like getting the builder in, isn't it, or the plumber in. They'll look at that, oh, well, I'll have to look at your bath as well. Because that's what we do. We're helping people. That is what we are. It's in our genes, if you like. But yeah, sure, hire a security consultant. They'll not only look at your Wi-Fi access and your wired network, they'll also be looking at all the vulnerabilities that are out there for you. They might even throw something in for free because they're nice. So, tip 4. This one comes from a colleague of mine called Rob Baldwin. I might as well give him a quote out there. He evangelises this like you've never seen anything else. It looks like Steve Jobs when he gets on full flow with this one. Because you know you need to do something, but you've only got 50 quid budget. And hell, everyone in the room we'd all have everything if it was for free, yeah? We'd all have IDS scanning and we'd have vulnerability tests every week if we could, if it was free. We haven't got that luxury. So, this was already stolen from my slide earlier on, so apologies for seeing this one again. Risk management. In risk management, we deal with impact on the business versus likelihood of that event happening. Okay, so let's deal with a staff member leaving. If it's someone important to your business, they're going to be up at this end. Likelihood of it happening? Well, if it's important to the business, generally they're less likely to leave. What about a sales guy? Impact to the business? Low. It's just a sales guy. We can afford to let him go. Chance of it happening? High. Brilliant. We can plot all of our risks on this, and this is a very simple thing. You'll see this throughout every major corporation down to the smallest business. You should all have an appetite for risk. with a tolerance line. In other words, everything in green I'm happy with. I am happy, for example, what was the examples I gave? Suppliers going out of business. It's a risk to a business, isn't it? One of it's Kellogg's. Supplier going out of business, it's a big risk. It's not a showstopper. They can find a million of them tomorrow. Impact to business, low. Chance of it happening, low. Great. Dot. It's a dot on a page. All they have to do is just look at that and go, great, that is my appetite for risk. If it falls in red, what do? They work out a way to circumvent that issue happening. Pay the director more so he doesn't leave. Give him the Ferrari he keeps asking for. Well, okay, that happens in major corporations, I agree. Smaller organisations, what would you do? We had mentioned before about someone I overheard talking about putting botnets in place in organisations to trap all incoming. Brilliant. Impact to the business, if something did attack without hitting the botnet, would be massive. Likelihood of it happening? Low. So on the green side, do I need to put one in place? Probably not. And we can plot everything we do as a business into one of these. I urge everyone in the room, if you're going to deal with a client or you're going to do it on your own business, sit and invent every risk possible. What if a bus drove through the front of the door? What if the guy's car outside, just the handbrake failed and just rolled into the door? Great, it's a risk. Plot it. If it's unlikely to happen, you don't have to do anything about it. I'll also nick these three words. ISO 27001, confidentiality, integrity and availability. Brilliant, these three. We can all nick it because it's the CIA. We can all remember the CIA, I hope. But I'm going to give it as an example. This is what UK Fast does with all new hosting contracts. We don't deal in terms of, someone was asking before about how much it costs for a server. We don't give a price. We ask what you want and we'll fill that. But we always ask these questions: what do you do for a business and how does it operate? So here we go. I'm an online candle shop. I'm not exactly a showstopper, is it, as a business, but hey, let's go with it. So confidentiality, well, visitors' details, they're massive. All I need is his details and I can go and clone his identity, and I've already got his credit card details because I didn't do any PCI stuff, and I've got a second credit card and now I'm rich. You're not. So that's quite big for me, that one. So I'll also go, let's get integrity. What if someone changed the website and I could buy church candles 30p cheaper? Well, actually, I know that Dave in dispatch checks all the orders anyway, so that's not an issue to me. I need to be monitoring it, but I don't need to do anything about it. Availability, well, I don't have a shop, it's all online. So availability on my website's massive, but I don't get any traffic between 6 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning. Nobody buys candles over a weekend, great. I can afford loads of downtime actually, when I get down to it. Now, this is all about protection on a budget. So where do I now put all my resources? I'll put quite a lot up here, a little bit here, and an alright amount at the bottom. So I might think about, well, confidentiality, I'm going to have firewalls, and I'm going to have all database servers replicated off, and all clever stuff up here, and integrity, that will come as part of confidentiality. The availability thing, find a good hosting company that won't go down, but we'll sort that one out. Maybe a 24-hour help desk. Brilliant, tick, there you go. I've now got myself protection. But more importantly, I've spent my money wisely. Protection on a budget, not for free. Okay, so now we're starting to get down to some stuff here. The other thing is, well, what if I look at that and I go, I don't know what to do next. I know I've got this confidentiality stuff and I've got a bit of it, but what do we do next? Well, go back to tip 3, hire an expert. Hire one of these guys, they're all looking for jobs. Get them on board. They'll help you out with what you're looking for. Okay. Tip 5, have a plan. What do you do if you've been hit? Okay, so Lulzsec, Anonymous, Team Poison, the Iranian cyber army, yes they exist, and Connection Lulz decide that your site is going offline, they don't like you. That's it. You've been DDoSed, half an hour later, no website. Not only that, they've compromised your website and your entire website is laid bare for everyone to see. Now what? Well, generally, you'll sit with a cup of tea and stare at the screen blankly and go, whew. You won't know what to do next. Have a plan. Okay, work for the A-team, it'll work for you. Have a plan. And this is the plan. There you go. It's very simple. and it's for free. First thing you want to do is you freeze your system, okay? Whatever's happened, freeze it. If you can, use a backup and restore onto a completely separate hard drive, because you'll need that hard drive for any forensics. Ask any digital forensics guy, the worst thing can happen is when they hit restore to get the website up and running, or their systems up and running. They lose all traces. Keep the original hard drives. Keep the original infrastructure you've got. It's critical for any investigation, as you'll see in a moment. Next one is notify. Tell people about what's happened. Wouldn't you want to know if it was your details that have been compromised? The phone call to say, "Hiya, we're from the bank, we've been compromised, your account details have been leaked. Don't worry about it, your replacement card's in the post, and I'm here just to let you know." Oh. Minor panic, but the replacement card's in the way, and all I have to do is log on and check my bank details, and actually nothing's been touched. Whew, great. What's it like though when you find out after the incident and actually you get the phone call and say, "Oh, someone's tried to take £3,000 out of your bank account," which is the worst phone call to receive. Of course, you need to let your clients know as soon as appropriately possible. I'll use that word wisely, appropriately. You'll know when to tell them, okay? And the last one is rebuild, okay? So the walls of Jericho came falling down, rebuild them. Get back operational. You've got to turn a penny tomorrow, haven't you? You've got wages to pay. So get yourself operational. Use that replacement set of hard drives to get yourself operational, but keep the originals in that frozen state. They're critical, as I'll now show you. We had a client who had a leaky SQL database. Yes, they didn't encrypt their passwords, and yes, they did all the silly stuff that we keep telling people you shouldn't do, but they still did it anyway. And sure enough, their website was compromised. It said, "Routed by TN_Scorpion." This is completely real. This happened 2 weeks ago. However, TN_Scorpion was very nice to give us their French Gmail account to say, "If you want to know what we did, contact us." Aren't they nice? Nice hackers after all. Contact us. We took you down. Well, after 1 hour, myself and my colleague Craig found out who he was. His name's Ralph Bezrou. No, I can't speak Maghrine in Tunisia because we found out who he was. Welcome to the internet. Yes, he did have a Twitter account. Yes, he had a Facebook page, a MySpace page. We also found his mobile number. We also found where he lives, Maghrine in Tunisia. Very nice. He works in a BMW garage. You can't quite see on this, but there's a BMW logo just about there. There are only 3 BMW garages in the whole of Maghrine in Tunisia, by the way. We know which one it is. Google Street Maps, you can drive past it and see the logo. Yes, he also very nice topless shot for the ladies. If you want to see our friend here with his top off, looking as buff as he can. Loves his cars, by the way. All of his friends on Facebook are all girls, which is good. We also can tell you he's 19 years old and which college he went to. Because it's very easy now, we're in a connected infrastructure, we will tell you who these people are. Also, the client froze the hard drive. We took it out, replacement in, restored back on, website came up. From that, we also got his IP address. We also got the IP addresses. 2 colleagues that also went onto the same server at the same time. We could tell you everything about those people as well. Know your plan. What happens next? What are you going to do with all this information? Interpol. Do you want to phone him up? I've got his mobile number if you want. Just phone him up and hello, why did you hack me? What have I done wrong? I make rubber stamps. Why did you hack me? I don't understand. Very simple. He's also part of the Tunisian cyber army, or ex-member as he is now, hence the TN in TN_Scorpion. This is all critical information if you're going to do something about it. 99% of us in this room will just go, rebuild, get ourselves back on, the guy won't take me out again. Well, he's already got you marked once, he will always come back and have another sniff around the door and see whether he can get back again, because it's easy to compromise you. There is now a hacker league. They actually actively now go and compromise as many websites as they possibly can, and they put it on a leaderboard. So you need to be aware, if you've been hacked once, they'll come back because they want the stats. Okay. Yep, nearly done now. Very quick summary. Passwords, use long and complex. There's a very good cartoon actually. It's a computer operator trying to type the word password, P-A-5-5-W-Z-O-R-D. He's struggling away, and then actually someone came along with a better password. Because if you actually look at password combinations, correct horse battery connector has got more terms of entropy than password PA55WZORD. It's easier to remember, believe it or not. And it is unlikely they will ever crack it. Staple. XKCD. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Hackers. We like that. Go on, put your hand in the air if you're a hacker. Well done. Yeah, exactly right. It is exactly right. You can use long, complex sentences. I love Man United. I don't actually, but you know what? It's great for a password, isn't it? Because anyone looks at me.
The hash key's been compromised, which is why we were about the rainbow table before.
Yep.
No point even in the language.
I love Man United.
It doesn't matter if your hash key's been compromised. If your hash table's been compromised, it doesn't matter about them.
Correct. If they've been able to reverse back, I agree with you. But that is the difficulty, is to reverse the hash key.
Yours that you have, you said that you bought the rainbow table.
For 8 characters.
But that means, no, it doesn't matter. It's a hack, it doesn't matter how many characters there are for a rainbow.
We've got the rainbow tables for every password that is 8 characters long that's been decrypted.
The rainbow table tells you a password that will work for the hash key.
Right, okay.
But the other thing is, you're not using salted hashes. No.
Correct.
Yours is insecure.
We'll come to that on a more technical debate later, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? There's a time and a place for the salted question, but in this room it's probably not that conversation. But yeah, I completely agree. Yep. We can make up very simple sentences that can make it a lot more difficult for people to hack. Okay? And they're very simple phrases. Okay? We can all love Man United if we need to. And it's very, very difficult for someone to come along and try and compromise those passwords. Again, compliance. If you can do it, great. If you've got the resources in terms of cash and time and availability, do it. Hire experts. They can do 99% of the work for you, and it'll help you a long way along cybersecurity. But the biggest one for me is have a plan. I'm not here to put any more fear, doubt, and uncertainty into you, but it'll happen to you someday. Those hackers will come knocking on the door. It's just a matter of when. Very famous hacker once said the phrase, there are 2 types of people in the world. You've either been hacked or you don't know you've been hacked. It's just quite true, really. So, final thoughts and a thank you. This is from a guy that I'm currently reading his book, Ghost in the Wire, Kevin Mitnick. For those who are older in the room, you'll know this guy very well. For the younger ones in the room, he's more like a god to you. But yes, it's very true. Most businesses don't see the return on investment, and therefore they don't put any credence or importance behind security. However, when it's struck, think a little car going across, it's too late. Okay? The other one is these guys. Knowledge is free. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forget. We do not expect us. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you all.